Diablo 2, Lord of Construction Paper.
Happy holidays, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of The Completionist. And before we start today, guys, two announcements real quick. One, we have new t-shirts and posters available at rodeoarcade.com. It's the Bears t-shirt and the Glitches with Old Man Snitches poster. So if you want to get those on, go ahead and click the link right here, wherever it is. You have until January 31st to pick them up, and we'll kind of be reminding you guys as we get closer to that date. Second announcement we have going on is we're going to be at MagFest, which is next Friday, a week from today, Fly. Yes, you're going, I'm going, we're all going. We're going to have a completionist panel there, so it's going to be super fun. If you're going to be at MagFest, it's from January 2nd to the 5th, and we have a completionist panel, and I'm going to be on the panel with Pro Jared, John Tron, and Peanut Butter Gamer doing a little YouTube 101 kind of thing. So I can't give you the exact times, but if you have... go into macfest.org and check out the schedule. You'll see it all right there. Or if you follow us on Twitter and Facebook, you'll see us posting. Now, without further ado, let's get on to Diablo 2. That kind of rhymed. I'm sorry.
Guys and gals, I cannot begin to tell you how many hours, days, weeks, and years I have spent playing Diablo 2. Pretty much my entire high school career and even my college years were spent grinding in the world of Sanctuary.
But Batman, wasn't Diablo 2 one of the most hacked online games ever? Did you like Diablo 3? Didn't it Diablo?
I liked it, Greg, but I loved Diablo 2, and I'm going to tell you guys why. I know a lot of you are wondering, why didn't we just play Diablo 1? Honestly, the game has not aged well, and the multiplayer is impossible to work. It also runs horribly on Windows 7, and DOS boxes out there don't really work that well. And you can still purchase Diablo 2 and Lord of Destruction, and I favor it way more than Diablo 1. Quick preface, the story of the Diablo universe is incredibly convoluted and filled with biblical lore as well as Blizzard-created fiction. That being said, I'm going to be skimming over a ton of it and really just getting to the meat and potatoes of the plot, specifically the major points in Diablo 2. Alright, let's move on.
If you want to hear the more lengthy version, I'll be glad to tell it to you.
Hey, Deckard, or Snitches, whoever you are, I don't think the Earth has enough time before the sun explodes to hear what you have to say.
Very well then, I'll tell it anyway. In the beginning, there was this world called Sanctuary.
As I said before, the world that Diablo 2 takes place in is in a land called Sanctuary. In short, in the first game, a rift opens up to hell, and our hero who kills Diablo eventually sacrifices himself by stabbing Diablo's soul stone into his body to keep the corrupting force of Diablo safe within his soul. Unfortunately, it was all in vain because Diablo's soul eventually corrupts the warrior's soul, and once again demons start to spill out upon the world of Sanctuary. The warrior now becomes known as the Dark Wanderer and wreaks havoc upon the land, while his tales of destruction are told to us by a wayward follower named Marius. The game's story is kind of told in a weird flash-forward, backflash kind of thing. Essentially, we see Marius telling Tyrael the entire tale, Tyrael being an angelic warrior. However, we the player know that Marius is not talking to Tyrael. He's talking to a different Dark Wanderer. The Dark Wanderer's main task is to find the other two prime evils, Mephisto and Baal. Baal, whatever. He also wants to open up the portal to hell and basically destroy everything.
And upon this world dwelled many evils,
and that's where our heroes come in. After rescuing Deckard Cain, we must find out where the Wanderer is going and stop him from reuniting the three prime evils.
I was going to get there, eventually.
Being a Blizzard game, Diablo 2 is one of the best looking, sounding, and playing games out there, even at least 10 years later. Diablo 2 did a great job in simply updating what was present in the original Diablo. The visuals are very dark and depressing, and giving a feeling of foreboding. It's actually very easy to get somewhat depressed while playing this game. It is filled with death and pretty massive amounts of gore. Pretty much everything you kill explodes into a pool of blood. The color scheme consists mainly of deep greens, blues, and vibrant reds. Until you get to the desert area, that is, and then it's just sand. Then sand, then sand, then it grows wormhole, and some green putrid acid-looking sludge and sand.
Are you sick of the dark, yucky, nasty, drab colors in your realm? Are you tired of rummaging through the flaming wreckage of Tristram? Well, have I got a treat for you. Come to Sandland. We've got all the sand you'll ever need, including but not limited to gross, nasty wormholes, funky-looking bugs, and sand. Come see sand today. No sand is actually guaranteed to be seen upon visit to Sandland. Everyone experiences sand differently.
Speaking of environments, they are very expansive and quite immersive. You can really get pulled into the world and its characters. When venturing out into the world, it feels like an actual adventure. The entire map is covered with a fog of war, so if you've never played this game before, exploring can be quite time consuming. In my case, I know the land like the back of my hand. That kind of rhymed. But when you're playing online, every single map is randomly generated, so the experience online doesn't really get old. The music is just as foreboding as the environments. Most of the score is filled with very ambient tracks, and some melodies were taken from the previous game and reworked. Anyone who's played Diablo 2 will instantly recognize the score right from the first few notes. Probably because you'll hear the track so many times from replaying the story over and over and over again, but more on that aspect later on.
There are the three main evils called the prime evils. One is Mephisto, another
I told him already. Now let's talk about the characters, and let's be honest here, there's really only one person that we all need to know about, and you've heard from him dozens of times here on the show. The wonderful and senile Deckard Cain. He's not just the greatest character in this game, he is one of the best in video game history. I love everything about him, from his frail voice to his old crazy man style. There would be no old man snitches if there was no Deckard Cain. And that, my friends, is something we should all be thankful for.
We're brothers from another mother.
Wait, so I really am confused. Was that Snitches or Deckard?
I thought they were both you.
Yeah, you're probably right.
The game progresses through 4 main acts set in 4 different locations. Act 1 takes place in the Rogue Encampment, Act 2 is in the desert, Act 3 is in the jungle, and Act 4 is in Hell. Final act, which is in the expansion, takes place in the mountains where the barbarians are from.
And the most evil of them all, Diablo. Now Diablo was once vanquished by...
Damn it, Sneckard, old man Deckard, Sneckard, Cain, whatever your name is anymore. Diablo 2 is a third-person dungeon crawler. That means that we follow our hero from above while fighting nearly endless onslaughts of demonic enemies from all over the game's world. This is also a very gear-driven game, which is good and bad. The economy is very heavily based on what items you possess. When you have the top gear, you feel like you can take on anything or anyone, but at the same time, you also have this constant feeling of needing to switch things out.
You should upgrade to Sand! Sand upgrade not available in all areas or realms.
With the expansion, there are 7 total playable characters. There's the Amazon, who is our basic ranged class. Then there's a Paladin, who is our melee protection class. The Necromancer has the ability to make curses, summon minions, and raise things from the dead. The Sorceress can cast 3 different elemental spell types: fire, lightning, and ice. The Barbarian is my favorite class, and it's a brute force machine. World winning for days is literally the coolest thing ever. The expansion added the 2 classes, Druid and Assassin. They're exactly what you think. The Druid can use his power of nature, and he can also transform into different animals. The Assassin uses stealth and traps. All in all, this is a wonderful spread of variety, and when you get bored playing one class, you just switch to the other. Now, since the game has come out, there's been tons and tons of online patches. With that said, I understand what it's like to play by yourself and making the best class by yourself. So for the campaign portion of this review, I played as a Barbarian. However, for everything else after the fact, I played solely as the Paladin.
You know, I never once got tired of playing as an Amazon. When multi-shot turned into just a full circle of arrows, it was beautiful. Hacks may have been involved to get that far.
Other than gear, each class has 3 different skill trees to add more variety to gameplay. All 3 classes do have different types and varieties, so it's hard to explain every single one of them. Some skills are passive, like auras, where they just kind of inherently upgrade yourself, while most are just actual skills that do something. Playing as a paladin and knowing what the endgame's going to be like, I built a Smiteadin. A Smiteadin consists of using a shield as your primary weapon. Using your shield with conjunction of different stats will allow you to ignore all damage and always hit everyone. This makes great when you're soloing really difficult bosses by yourself. And if you want to level up, all you have to do is murder all the enemies on the screen. I'm kind of exaggerating, but at the same time, I'm not. You'll really want to just do that. In Act 2, you receive what is called the Horadric Cube. It is originally used to combine the two pieces of the Horadric Staff and other quest items. However, it can be used to make so many other items. Decker Kane tells you a few of the combinations, but there are a few other ones that are really secretive. We'll get to that later on.
Have I told you about the Horadrum?
I literally just told everyone about it.
Oh dear. It seems as if I'm just a touch behind.
You're more than a touch behind, old man.
Have I told you about the Horadrum?
Along with gear, there are other items as well. There are plenty of charms that raise your stats, gems to put into socketed items, jewels even, and of course your potions that help you heal for both life and mana. And yes, there's gold, your main currency in the normal game. In the early days, gold became irrelevant very quickly in multiplayer due to hacking. And speaking of multiplayer, this is where the game gets its real life and fun. You can play online with up to 8 people in a game. There's 2 types of multiplayer. Open Battle.net, which consists of taking your character in single player and letting them play online, which, by the way, doesn't quite work as well as it used to. With internet security advancements, playing Open Battle.net isn't as easy as it used to be. And then there's Closed Battle.net, which the characters are then hosted on Blizzard servers. Closed Battle.net is the most legit way of playing Diablo 2, as all of the hacking is turned down to a very low minimum. Blizzard was able to hold down most hacks and bots out there. Most. There's also 2 types of online ranking systems, non-ladder and ladder. Ladder essentially is the current ranking of who can build the character up the best the fastest. Upon the creation of this video, the ladder was reset and our characters were moved to non-ladder. The main differences between ladder and non-ladder are runes. See, in later patches you can collect runes and build rune words. These runes, when placed in a specific order of a socketed item, will turn them into an insane piece of equipment. A lot of these rune words ended up being more useful than some of the rarest unique items in the game. When it comes to rune words, there's actually ladder-specific rune words that can only be used on ladder. In regards to multiplayer, you can fight to the death or play as friends. PvP is super fun and can be extremely fast-paced. Most people who play Diablo 2 understand the best way to farm to the highest the quickest. And that, my friends, is Bale runs. Bale is the final boss on the Lords of Destruction add-on pack. Playing with a full group of 8 will utilize your experience to the max. Leveling up to the first 90 is quite easy, however you will struggle getting to 99. In fact, most people on the ladder today currently still haven't done that. They really make it pretty difficult. Doing these Bale runs will constantly wear you out.
Wait a second. Killed them thousands of times. Does my entire world just continue to reset itself? Am I lost in an infinite time loop with no hope for escaping? Is that hard candy? Delicious. Where am I?
Which brings me to my final point of this section. Leveling to level 99. Does or does it not count as a completion bonus? For the sake of this review, I got 1 character up to level 99 on the non-ladder servers. Doing so did absolutely nothing. It's just bragging rights. So I think it's safe to say that we set the level right here. Getting level 99 in JRPGs, let alone in RPGs, does not necessarily count as a completion bonus unless the game specifically has it. Pre-expansion, the last level consists of you going to hell to slay Diablo himself. While difficult the first few times, once you get the hang of killing Diablo, it becomes a cakewalk. You then move out to the snowy peaks of the mountain area, I don't know, to kill the final primeval that got away, Bale. Like before, Bale can be pretty nasty. Once you've gotten the hang of it, he can be dispatched without a hitch. And that's it. That's all there is to Diablo. The game's kinda over and the world is, well, kinda saved. Tyrael, an angel who has been helping you on your quest the whole time, tells you you saved the world, but he needs to destroy the corrupted world stone and he doesn't know what the real consequences are for doing so. Great, Tyrael, some archangel you are. Anyways, beat the game and we get... After beating the game on normal mode, you unlock, that's right, more difficulty settings. You get to play the game once again over on Nightmare mode, and then once you've done that, you move on to Hell mode. And each time you beat the game, you get a new status for your character name. And if you want a pretty decent challenge, you can try a hardcore mode, where if you die, you cannot come back, and that character is completely permanently unplayable. You ultimately get nothing from completing this, but if you are interested in seeing me play a hardcore mode from the ground up, check out Peanut Butter Gamer's hardcore playthrough of Diablo 2 that I'm on. It's like Survivor, but with Diablo 2. Here's a really big secret that I haven't unveiled to anyone until right now. This episode has been 11 months in the making, getting 2 characters, both expansion and expansion hardcore closed BattleNet to level 99 non-ladder, with me and my crew spending approximately 1,200 hours. That's practically 54 days of playing this game. That's just adding up all of our play hours together, but yeah, we're insane. The reason why we went non-ladder was because we did too much work to simply backtrack. The ladder had reset since our starting of characters, so it was too hard to go back and get rid of all that work just to be number 1 on a ranking. Merry Christmas, by the way. Now, the best Easter egg in the game is found by using the Herodric Cube. Once you've beaten the game and rescued Deckard Cain from Old Tristram, you can do a little scavenging hunt and find Wirt's leg. Wirt actually was the gambling vendor from the first game, and obviously he didn't make it. Anyways, head back to the rogue encampment and grab a Tome of Town portal. Put Wirt's leg and the Tomb of Town portal into the cube and voila! You've got a portal to hell? Not quite. It takes you to the secret cow level. It's an area filled with giant cows holding halberds that constantly say moo until you kill them. And there's some pretty good loot here every now and then. The whole cow level rumor started with Diablo 1, where people said if you clicked on the cow a bunch of times, it would make the cow level. It wasn't true, and Blizzard addressed this in StarCraft with the cheat, there is no cow level. So after all the jokes, they put in a secret cow level. And it's gone down in gaming history as one of the best Easter eggs. Moo. There's 2 more lesser known secrets in Diablo 2 that were added many years after the game's initial release. The first secret is known as the Diablo clone, or D-clone. In the early days of closed BattleNet, multiplayer was filled with hackers. And one of the biggest hacks in the game was duplicating the overpowered Stone Ring of Jordan, or simply put, SOJs. Blizzard was aware of how many rings were hacked, and thus created a special event called the D-clone. If you sold one of these SOJs to the merchant, a message would appear saying, X amount of Stone Ring of Jordan sold to the merchant. If you sold anywhere from 80 to 120 SOJs to the merchant, the message, Diablo walks the earth, will appear. In the same game, the next time you encounter a unique monster, you will fight a Diablo clone. Killing him will award you the Analyst Charm, a 1-slot charm that adds an insane amount of stats and even surpasses the SOJ. But there's kind of a big catch nowadays. Since people don't play Diablo 2 as much anymore, there's bots that have been made to farm SOJs and sell them quickly, letting the bots spawn and kill Diablo clone for themselves. Blizzard since then has tried to combat these by creating a code that does a server check every 8 to 12 minutes. If a certain number of SOJs are sold within a certain time limit, the server automatically crashes.
How the hell are you supposed to do this then, Gerard?
What am I getting at here? It's an insane feat, but it is somewhat doable. First, we need to farm 120 SOJs. Now this took forever. I mean, we had 1,500 hours to do it, but it was really hard, all of us in our crew.
You okay there, pal?
I'm fine. I'm just thinking about every thing we've done this past year. Next, have 2 or 3 people have their characters filled with SOJs in their slots. Selling them rapid fire will then force D-clone to appear. You've got to kill him in that time before he disappears or else. But here's the problem we also had while doing this. Simply selling all 120 SOJs didn't do much. The games would simply crash and we'd have no opportunity to fight D-clone. After farming over 400 SOJs, we just kind of gave up. However, using really old mods for single player mode, I was able to recreate the event for you so you guys could at least see how it looks. The second secret is easier in regards to making it happen, but it does require a lot of patience and the correct build. There are 3 unique bosses that now drop 3 keys. The Countess drops the Key of Terror, the Summoner drops the Key of Hate, and Nihilithak, whatever her name is, drops the Key of Destruction. You'll need 3 of each key, which then makes a total of 9 keys. When you combine 1 of each key into a cube, you'll then create a portal to Matron's Den, the Forgotten Sands, or the Furnace of Pain. If you create all 3 portals in the same game, you're guaranteed all 3 portals that are different. If you do them in separate games, you risk the chance of spawning 1 and 3.
Is this going anywhere?
Within each portal, there is an uber version of a boss we've once fought. These bosses, once defeated, will drop Diablo's Horn, Bale's Eye, and Mephisto's Brain. Collecting all of these 3 key items into the Herodric Cube will then transport you in a portal to Tristram. Only this time, instead of fighting Deckard Cain and Griswold and Wirt, you'll find a very powerful form of Diablo, Baal, and Mephisto, and a bunch of enemies as well. This event is known as the Pandemonium event, or simply put, the Ubers. This may take a few hours depending on who's going to go with you and who builds what. Killing all 3 Ubers will force them to drop the Hell Torch charm. This charm provides tons of stats, resistances, and character-specific bonus skills. And for doing all this, everyone in the game will receive the Champion charm. This charm just proves to everyone that you did it! You did everything! You did everything! Playing Diablo 2 is really easy and fun. Whether you're playing with your friends or by yourself, it has tons of hours of gameplay for you to enjoy. I had a lot of fun playing this game for the first few months, and then it became very tedious. However, I could not have done it by myself. A very huge shout out to fans like Yul, Jarrell, John, Otto, Dave, Mufasa Prime, Scott, and Gung Ho Al for spending countless hours helping me level, grind for keys, get better equipment, SOJs, everything. I also want to give a huge thank you to the MIRC D2 clone hunting community for their support as well. They're still around years after this game and event have kind of come and gone, and they were incredibly helpful in the entire process for our journey to hunt down D-Clone. Now, in terms of it's worth completing, D-Clone obviously is near impossible, so there's no point in trying that event, and the Ubers are definitely doable, but do them amongst friends and not by yourself. The sad thing is, once you beat the Ubers, the game's really done. There's no point in grinding to 99 because there's no rewards afterwards, and the game just kind of ends. And if you're gonna be crazy like what I did, what we all did together, why in God's don't do what we did? It's not worth getting to 99 on hardcore. Why did we do this? This was a very dumb idea.
I'm gonna finally try and relate to you young whippersnappers by using some sick rhymes and fat beats. My name is Deckard, and I'm here to say that y'all got attention that you need to pay to the man who'll let you know how to slay the Prince of Darkness. Do you know his name? Diablo. Diablo. I'm telling you about Diablo. Diablo. Tristram crew represent, yo.
Diablo 2 is the kind of game that has aged remarkably well considering what has come out since then. It's pretty exciting to kind of see how far we've kind of come and gone with the game genre and kind of see how it's evolved. I wish I could say the same thing about Diablo 3, because Diablo 3 for me just didn't have that replayability wow factor that Diablo 2 had. From a completion standpoint, I don't recommend it. I would just say beat the story, play with some friends. If you are the kind of guy that likes to grind a lot, then go ahead and give a shot for the Pandemonium Uber event. That's really fun, but getting level 99, hunting D-Clone legitimately, not worth the effort. So guys, with that in mind, this game gets my completionist rating of finish it.
Finish it.
That's all the time we have for today, guys. So as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. I hope you guys have a fantastic New Year. I hope your Christmas and your Hanukkah and your Kwanzaa and all your holiday celebration stuff went very well. And I think we'll see you guys next week, January 3rd. That's my birthday, and we're going to be at MagFest, so I'm still unsure as to whether or not a video will be posted on next Friday, a week from today. But we'll see. We shall see. I'll see you guys at MagFest. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and listen to what Deckard Cain has to say.
Leah, teach me how to be cool again. Oh. Yeah. Represent. Griswold. Remember that guy? And Wirt. He had one leg for a while. Now he has no legs. That's how tough it is to roll with my crew. Oh, I think I'm just going to go take a nap after a walk through the park. I'll feed the birds. Diablo!